Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart, and you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
What? Okay, well, has this always been a thing? Where have I been?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Smacked Raw podcast, SmackDown recap edition. We are your hosts, Kyle Tyson and Mr. Vicente Delgado. What is going on, Vince?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me back on SmackDown. Like I'm doing my sporadic John Cena appearances, man.
Yeah, you're a part-timer now. It's okay, though.
It's okay. You know, I laid the foundation. I laid the foundation down for everybody else.
Yeah, man.
We need to get Sebastian back on here and Rob eventually.
Well, before that, Happy New Year, everybody. 2020's behind us. Come on, I always forget, like, festive shit. Like, it'll be like our last show before Halloween or Christmas, and I'm never, like, in the holiday spirit. Damn it, I made a point to remember. Happy New Year, 2020's.
Happy New Year, everyone. The first podcast of the new year.
Yeah, it is actually. The first podcast of 2021. Yep. I enjoyed the fact that I celebrated New Year's before you, Vince, and a couple of other my friends, losers on
of course.
Central and West Coast time zone. How is that growing up, by the way? What do you all get for your TV? Because we get the New York ball drop, right? You guys aren't watching that.
No, so it's weird because if you get the wrong channel, if you're not like on local television and you're watching like, let's say, like DirecTV or cable, you're watching the Eastern feed, so you always miss it. So you have to make sure you're on like a regular like DTV or like just antenna television.
Local television.
Local television. It has to be local or else you're gonna miss the whole thing. Honestly, what we started doing recently now is just we set like a timer. Like we'll have like our own clock on the phones together and then just celebrate and then just have some stuff playing in the background. But it's always been kind of weird. It's always been kind of weird how like, oh, okay, so everybody else gets to celebrate New Year's except us. So we're stuck in the past. We need to wait another hour. It's almost kind of like when you're a kid in the pre-K and you do something you're not supposed to and then you get sit in the corner and you're in timeout. Feels like you're in timeout and you're waiting.
The rest of the world is celebrating.
And the rest of the world is celebrating, just waiting. But you know what? It's okay.
I watched the UK Twitter celebrate like 6 hours before us.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
you know, it's only like, I don't know, like 6 or 7 o'clock at night, and everybody in the UK is like, yeah, 2021. I was like, oh shit, yeah, they are celebrating that shit right now, ain't they? Oh, man. You guys, if you're not familiar with the show, we are a wrestling recap show. We cover primarily WWE and AEW shows. You can catch us live like you are tonight on twitch.tv/putting you over. Of course, we are also on YouTube, youtube.com/Smacked Raw Podcast. Please make sure to click the like, subscribe, and notification bell on that. We would greatly appreciate it. We're only like 1 or 2 subs away from from 200 subs. Get us to 200, please. Savannah in the chat. If you
accounts.
I don't think Savannah, have you subscribed, Savannah? Otherwise I think I'm gonna put this on you.
No. Savannah's definitely subscribed. I went back and watched the Survivor Series prediction show with Katie and Savannah, and she made points of saying she follows us and subscribes us everywhere. So she is a full-blown like mark for Smack Raw podcast.
Fantastic. That's awesome, man. Thank you, Savannah. We're also the exclusive recap show for WrestlingNewsWorld.com. Check those guys out, man. A lot of awesome, talented writers over there. They host a couple different podcasts and articles, man. They're really good, man. Bookmark their page. Check them out. Fantastic people over on Wrestling News World. What else, man? What else can I plug?
Synergy.
Hey, yeah, let's talk about Synergy really quick. If you guys are interested in possibly checking out the indie scene of pro wrestling, I know exactly where you should start. Synergy Pro Wrestling. They're putting on an event tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on IWTV wrestling stream site. I believe it's Independent Wrestling Television is what it is. The event's being kicked off, or headlined, by Brandon Kirk, who's the champion. Love that guy. He comes out to Marilyn Manson. Badass dude. Taking on Jordan Oliver, who is essentially kind of like a actual cool stoner character, unlike Matt Riddle's stoner character. They've got other people like the Whisper or Frightmare. Remember when we sponsored the Frightmare on Elm Street match, which was their cinematic match. SmackDown brought that to you guys. That was fantastic. They have a whole ton of other people to look out for. KTB's a monster on the scene. Joey Silver. There's a whole lot of people here. I actually personally am a fan of Kip Stevens, this guy too. He'll be on it. They sent me a little teaser. Apparently they got a surprise in store, so I'm gonna go ahead and play that clip real quick. Let me see. Where did I put it? Here it is. Yo, some eerie stuff. I have no idea what that's about.
You have no idea who that is? It's just a teaser?
It's just a teaser. There's going to be a surprise at this event, so I'm stoked for that. So besides the New Year's, Vince, I don't think I've seen you since Christmas. We did talk a little bit. You were my wife's secret Santa, and she was yours.
Yes.
You sent her some... You overdid it. You sent her 2 Bianca Belair shirts.
Yeah, so fortunately enough for Jess, when I went to shop, they were having a BOGO where you buy one, get one for $1. So I'm like, oh, why not? It fits the budget and it's more stuff for her. So I'm like, go ahead. So I went ahead and did that. So just perfect timing is what happened.
See, I thought you were blowing the like $20 spending limit we said or something.
No.
Yeah. Katie in the chat.
I would.
Oh. Katie in the chat got me this badass Ric Flair shirt. I don't even care that it came late. I actually, if I thought about it, I'd be wearing it right now. Love that shirt. Can't wait for it to warm up a little bit so I can rock that in public. And then Jess got you. She got you what?
The Sasha Banks, the blueprint, the standard one. Like it's one of the newer shirt designs that she came out with, and it was one that I've been eyeballing for a while now, and I just haven't gotten around to getting some new wrestling shirts. So thank you, Jess, for the amazing shirt. I really do appreciate it.
Hell yeah. One other thing that we all did for Christmas is we had the first annual Smacked Raw Christmas party. Was quite a bit of fun. A little bit embarrassing, like these Zoom calls. I mean, I think one of the benefits of having like a Zoom party is you can get drunk and kind of just blend in. You know, if you just sit there quietly, let everybody else do the thing, you know, you might not come across too tipsy. I got a little too tipsy, but and then my wife, she got tipsy. I could tell because she got to the point where just like anything Bob or Jizzy said, my wife was just like laughing her butt off, man, the whole time. She had a blast. We had a surprise guest appearance from Sasha Banks. I got a clip. Here it is.
Of course, they're the champion.
Hardcore belt all the way. That's my favorite belt of all time. No shit.
You got to mute it if you're going to take a shit. You can't just turn off the video. I got you.
Oh, you, Katie.
Oh.
You remember that Sasha Banks, the fuck, the legit champion, the blueprint. Katie, your days are outnumbered, bitch. Okay? Once I run through Bailey, then I will run through you, and then I will run through the entire women's division.
And then the entire star.
You wish you could deck these humps. You really want to jingle these balls. Thank you, Vince, for letting me join this Zoom call. I will give it back to Jizzy.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was excellent.
Yo, that was kind of crazy. Sasha is in here rolling out.
Dope.
She's the fiend. She has 2 different personalities.
Oh, so funny.
Is it Jesus Christ, man? This is why, like,
I love it.
fucking make it
He said,
hard.
I love you.
God.
Yo, I had a fucking feeling y'all were gonna make me do that fucking Sasha face.
That was awesome.
That's why I had the wig right next to me. I was like, hold on.
Dude, that shit gets me like every time watching that shit. Jizzy's a blast. She's the MVP of Zoom Christmas parties or just Zoom parties in general. If you're gonna do something on Zoom with a bunch of people, either Jizzy's either the first person you want to invite or the last. Oh man, it was a bunch of fun though. We all had a great amount of fun that night.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Sorry I missed it, man. Next time.
Because you're
next party.
Loser. That's why you didn't show up.
Hey, man, I had to work.
Yeah.
Duty calls.
So, I guess we can go ahead and get to, what we're here for. Cover SmackDown, what we watched tonight.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, such an emotionally draining week with the passing of Mr. Brody Lee, and then just the constant outpouring of support and stories, and then AEW put on, honestly, like the perfect tribute show. Something that a lot of people hail in comparison to the tribute show to Owen Hart or Eddie Guerrero when they passed. Super emotional night, man. That coming into SmackDown, wasn't expecting more of the same, but it was kind of like the air was kind of taken out of me. SmackDown, I think, was a great show, but I had a hard time like really getting into it after just such an exhausting week of pro wrestling, I think is the best way to put it. What do you think?
Unfortunately, I no longer have cable, so I wasn't able to watch the Brody Lee tribute. So I'm gonna wait and try to like watch it like off of a streaming site, or I think my sister has recorded, so I'm gonna try to like get to it on Sunday afternoon and really get a look at it. Like the clips that I did saw were just, yeah, man, it was the best show all year. Best show all year. Honestly, like based on the stuff I saw, and it's kind of hard to just really get into like the spirit of things. You're just kind of down, but I thought the show was okay. I thought the show was really good. I will say I have one complaint of tonight's show, and there was too much tag team matches.
Too much tag team matches.
Too many tag team matches.
It's funny. One of our criticisms is WWE doesn't focus on their tag teams, and then they just give us the, you know what? SmackDown, you get all the tag teams.
Yeah. And Teddy Long wasn't even in in the arena to make them. At least give us Teddy Long a tag team match. Other than that, like some of the matches did make sense. Like the Riot Squad match, sure, that makes sense. The other women's match between like Bianca and Sasha and Babe Mella, those were set up from last week. But I don't know, man. Like, I like tag team wrestling, as in terms of actual tag teams wrestling each other. Like two like dudes that aren't a tag team wrestling two other dudes that aren't a tag team just doesn't do it for me.
Especially when you have like no long-term goals. I have no problem with strange bedfellow tag teams. They actually form some of the funnest tag teams.
Team Hell.
But when you have no intention of building them as a tag team, and it's like either one-offs or it's like you're both kind of like entangled in the same storyline, so they just put tag teams together. You're right, it's kind of but I will say one thing. Did you catch the Three Amigos? That's such an old reference, but like the Three Amigos reference with Chad Gable, Otis, and Daniel Bryan.
Nah, man, it completely went over my head.
So a lot of people they'll maybe mistake it for that '90s song, the Macarena.
Mm-hmm.
But there was because that's how when they celebrated after their match, they did like a short form of the Macarena. But it's actually a celebration from like a comedy. It had like Steve Martin. I want to say like Martin Short, a couple like those like '80s, early '90s like big comedy stars.
Yeah.
From like Saturday Night Live. Yeah, they did a movie called The Three Amigos, and that's how they celebrated. And it's like it's weird because I like Daniel Bryan, but then the criticism is like it just goes WWE throwing humor from the 80s and early 90s and expecting people like you, Vince, who's you're a baby, you're like 16, to catch these references.
No. Stop it. I am not Baby J. You know what? Like, I don't even think this is a WWE thing. I think this is the Daniel Bryan thing. I think that's just right up a Daniel Bryan's alley. He's like, oh, it'd be funny if we do a Three Amigos reference with the three of us together. That seems like some corny stuff Daniel Bryan will do. And late in his career, Daniel Bryan is getting away and doing a lot of like funny, corny stuff. And that's just
Bring
how he's
back
going
Drew
now.
Gulak, man.
Yes.
Bring back Drew Gulak from the 24/7 scene on Raw. Just bring him back. I mean, if you're gonna have Chad Gable doing the comedy shit with Daniel Bryan and Otis, get Gulak in on that. Come on, man. Share some of the fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's a shame that Gulak and Bryan never won a tag title together.
They didn't really get a chance to go.
Right?
Yeah, like
I
Daniel
feel like that would have been an amazing tag team.
Their stuff was fantastic that they were doing. What it was, and I hate to say it because it's completely understandable, is Daniel Bryan decided to stay home. In the midst of him and Gulak doing their thing, Daniel Bryan was like, nah, COVID, you guys are having outbreaks in the performance center and stuff, and Bryan was like, nah, I'm gonna stay home for a while and be safe, play it safe. And that was when they ended it with Gulak, because Bryan was no longer there.
No,
Man, had he stayed, that would have been awesome. Other than that, more Roman Reigns stuff with Kevin Owens. That's obviously going nowhere. We did get a short. They did do the tribute open to John Huber, Brody Lee, Luke Harper. I didn't really see any in-ring references this week. I don't recall hearing anybody going, "It's Friday." You know what that means? I could have missed it. But I did.
Nobody did that today. But I did see Sasha and Bailey and Big E with the Brody like
armbands.
Yeah. I think that was just something Drew wanted to do. I don't think he even got the thumbs up for it. I think, or maybe he's just like, "Hey, I'm just."
Tom Phillips too.
Tom Phillips did it.
Yeah, Tom Phillips did it. He was actually the first one, man. He when they opened up Raw.
Yeah, he did it. Drew did it. Maybe it was just that. Maybe it was just they took some liberties. I'm like, what they're gonna say? It kind of like just flows through with it.
Yeah, I don't really want to speculate on it because that would just make me feel dirty.
Yeah,
like
I mean, WWE is releasing on the network the best of Luke Harper,
and they did do that sweet YouTube video for him too.
Yeah,
that was really nice. I don't think they recorded
any SmackDown wrestlers yet. I think it was mostly Raw, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I mean, really, that was it. Oh, yeah, and Sonya Deville's back. We'll talk about that. Some people are upset about how they rolled her back out.
I thought it was unique. I thought it was different. Like,
yeah.
Was it the most spectacular way? No, but it leaves you intrigued. You're like, oh, wait, she's here. What's her plans? You don't know what her plans are, what her goals are, what her motivations are. They could literally be anything.
Yeah. The locker room. Everybody was staring at her like, that's Sonya?
Daddy DeVille is back.
What assholes? Like, none of them thought to walk up like, hey, you're back, welcome back. Like, apparently Sonya Deville just has no friends back there, faces or heels. So besides, like I said, the tribute, we opened up the show with Roman Reigns promo. Talking about 2020 was tough, just playing off we just got into the new year. But that's why he's a champ. He can handle that tough year. And then he goes on to say that Jay was able to acknowledge him, and that's why we now have main event Uso. I'm here for that. I like that, man. Good acknowledgement. Kevin Owens comes out, pretty much keeping this feud's going to Royal Rumble at this point. This is going all the way to Rumble. This is not getting squashed in like a week and then building up another feud. Yeah, this is going all the way to Rumble. But Kevin Owens says Roman should be embarrassed because he wasn't able to end his career, and that he's going to go to the back and demand a fight with Jey Uso. And it's pretty much what we got. Shit, my notes kind of run into each other here. Oops. What was our... Oh, our first match was Big E, right?
I think it was Big E versus Corbin, yeah.
Yeah, no, sorry. Apparently, Yeah, I don't know how, but my notes got bled into each other between two parts.
Oh man.
No, it's okay. I got it now. I got it. Essentially, I'm just gonna separate them. Owens backstage runs into Adam Pearce, demands a match. Pearce says he can't do it, but then after Owens reminds him of their time on the Indies, Pearce is like, "Fine, you got your match, whatever." Like, there's gonna be some serious repercussions, so I'm hoping they play into that.
Yeah.
But that did, like I said, we then had our first match. It was Big E taking on not Sami Zayn, excuse me, Baron Corbin. Yo, Sami Zayn on commentary, did you catch him like not even seeing him blindsided by Big E's coat?
No.
Oh my god, dude. I thought Sammy was gonna drop an F-bomb. He was not ready. He was looking Corey Graves dead in the eyes, and out of nowhere, Big E's coat just clocks him in the fucking head. It was fantastic. Like, he looked legitimately startled. Because Big E had to wait. It wasn't like how, like, when the New Day would come out and Big E went straight for Corey Graves. Big E was in the ring and waited for Corbin to make his entrance and everything. So he waited through a commercial break and then just blasted Zayn. Dude, I laughed so hard when I saw that shit.
I did want to make note of Big E's entrance. Him with the title. The one thing I saw last week is that the black gear with the like hints of like gold in there makes him stand out differently, where he still has hints of his previous New Day like persona, but it's himself. I don't know, he feels more legit, more main event for whatever reason, and him with the IC title, that felt like, oh, this guy can win the world title. This guy looks world championship material stuff right now.
Yeah, I mean, he has the support of a lot of the internet community.
Yeah.
I wonder I mean, this is just the beginning. I know he started getting his singles push what felt like a year ago, you know, but at this point, even though it took so long, we're off and running. He's got the IC belt. They gave it to him on a really big episode of SmackDown. The SmackDown with the most viewers, I think, for the entire year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't it crack 3 million or something?
Yeah. So Jesus. Absolutely. He's got all the momentum in the world right now. His match, however, wasn't really that big of a match. It was just like one of those classic stop-go matches. Him and Corbin were going at it for only about like 5 minutes, if that. He hits the big ending. At that point, he gets jumped by, what is it? The Knights of the Lone Wolf, along with Sami Zayn. We cut to commercial. We come back. They do the tag match thing. My favorite thing is Sami Zayn is just, I love it. His heels will team up with other heels just for the sake that they're bad guys. And I love that Sami Zayn is legitimately so annoying that even other heels won't tag with him. Because Corbin abandons the match halfway through because Sami's trying to boss around Cutler and
Blake.
Blake, excuse me, yeah. And not Biggie, yeah, Corbin's like, nah, I'm good. We're out of here, guys.
I will say this. I love Corbin, and the Knights of the Lone Wolf is an interesting idea, but this is something they should have done right when he was crowned King of the Ring. He was crowned King of the Ring 16 months ago, and it's way overdue. They need to change something up with that man. He's become stale.
For like a couple weeks ago, he didn't have his crown or robe. And I was like, oh, shoot, they might be ditching it. And then very next week, no,
bring back Constable Baron Corbin. That was my favorite version.
Applebee's Baron Corbin.
Applebee's.
Yeah, bring back. I mean,
sure.
Seriously, yeah, just bring back, what was it? The, essentially he was, what do they call Reginald? He's the, God, it's the name for wine waiter.
I have no idea.
What have they been calling him? Dang it. I've made it a point to learn this word, and now I've already forgotten it. Either way. Yeah, him and Reginald pretty much had a very similar gimmick.
Yeah.
Or at least attire.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sami Zayn's left out there by himself. He is immediately beat and pinned by Apollo Crews. Sommelier. There we go. Thank you, Katie. Although I know you butchered the spelling, unless you Googled that shit. Because that looks
that looks weird.
Yeah, Sommelier though. But yeah, Zayn was immediately pinned by Cruz. I kind of would have liked it to linger a little bit, get let Zayn get beat up like in a handicap match style. Otherwise, it really was just like the moment Corbin was gone, he was pinned. But anyways, small gripes for honestly a throwaway match. It really did just set up backstage. Apollo Crews and Big E were celebrating together, and Big E's interviewed. He announces that next week he will have an open challenge, which I popped for, and then immediately groaned because Apollo Crews wasted no time in saying, well, I'm officially challenging you. So they set up the IC title match next week, Apollo Crews and Big E. My favorite thing in that, though, was Apollo Crews went to touch the belt, and Big E was like, don't touch me. It was really quick and subtle, but I liked it, man.
No, it was really good. I'm excited for that match. It was made official later on in the night, like you said. Yeah, man, this is gonna be good. Just that's what they should be doing with Big E, putting him in with good athletes, good wrestlers in there, put on solid good matches, and put this notion and stigma with Big E that he's a really good wrestler and puts on really good matches. On top of him just being like a physique of a man, like he just has a great look to him, and he has a great voice, and he's good on the mic, and he has a great character. Just full package.
Yeah,
really make him well-rounded.
What do you think about Apollo Crews? Because when Apollo Crews came out for the save during that beatdown, I was like, oh yeah, it's Apollo. Like his shine has really wore off for me. He's back at that whole mid-Carter, barely outside the 24/7 division. Like
he's got that vibes again.
Yeah,
I swear, man, he's one of those guys. And Ricochet is one of those guys too, where they left NXT way too soon before they can build a character or personality, and then they go to main roster and they're just generic wrestler number 5.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, right now he just feels like a custom wrestler that you make automatically in 2K, and that's it.
I feel like he'd be a really fun cocky heel in a tag team. Somebody where his personality could bounce off him. Somebody who could complement his personality well.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe that's what they were doing, because we saw hints of it with him challenging Big E. I mean, he didn't really do anything outright heelish. He was just acting overly excited, like, entitled. I could have been reading into it, but
no, I got those similar hints myself. I'm like,
Yeah.
could this be them teasing a more cockier, arrogant Apollo Crews that leads into a heel turn?
I don't know.
Because
maybe if Chad Gable wasn't doing anything, that'd be interesting.
Ooh, yes.
But Chad Gable's obviously wrapped up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just don't see him in I see him developing better in some type of team or stable, you know. But I wouldn't want him on Raw just joining up with Retribution or Hurt Business. Like,
he would have been a perfect candidate for Hurt Business.
Dude, he really would have. He really would have.
Yeah.
But Hurt Business, they literally are just like one more member from just legitimately being able to take out all of WWE. Hurt Business is easily the best thing in WWE, in my opinion, and I'll go on record saying that.
Yeah.
But
I'm still behind TC from Young Kings Wrestling's idea of Naomi joining Hurt Business, and that being the new fresh blood into the women's division on Raw that desperately needs. Because we'll talk about more Sonya in the bit, unless you want to just talk about it right now since it was so quick. Sonya is a nice injection of life into the women's division on SmackDown, but I feel like she was needed more on Raw, because Raw feels like it's spinning the wheels with their women's division more so than SmackDown.
Yeah, I mean every show has its gaps and holes. Yeah. No, we'll get into Sonya because she's following the 2 women's matches, and that's kind of when I want to bring it up because of that.
For sure.
But so that does actually bring us into the first of the 2 women's matches of the night. You had the Riot Squad, who looks like they're supposed to be taking on Billie Kay in a tag team partner of her choosing, which is revealed to be Tamina, but there was like a weird swerve, and Tamina's tagging with Natalya. Billie Kay even looked like she wasn't in on this. And then during the match, she proves... So at first I'm getting mad, right? Because they're aggravated with Billie Kay, and they're treating her like crap. And all this feels like is a repeat telling of the Lana story, where everyone is just a dickhead to her. and doesn't let like Lana wrestle or get anything in.
Right.
But I was pleasantly surprised when she flips sides during the match, causes distractions, and lets the Riot Squad pick up the victory, and then tries to celebrate with the Riot Squad. I found that hilarious, and now I instantly want her as like an annoying manager to the Riot Squad and actually help them pick up wins. I think that would be a lot.
I heard I heard rumblings. I don't know if this was ever discussed on the show or not, but rumblings of maybe giving an on-screen managerial role to Billie Kay on SmackDown and letting Adam Pearce stay on Raw.
I heard, yeah, I forget where I heard that from. Oh no, because what it was is it was through Twitter. Billie Kay or one of the like WWE and Fox accounts, something was showing off her resume, and Adam Pearce like retweeted it with like some emojis or something, like he was interested. And so that's what got people rumbling, was like, oh, the unofficial GM is interested in Billie Kay's resume. But that was like well over or about a month ago, and we haven't had anything.
They take forever. They drag their feet to build something.
Oh man. But no, I'd be all here for it too, because then you'd get like 2 or 3 Billie Kay segments a night, and I don't know anybody that's going to complain about that.
No, dude, like I love the Iconics, and one of the best things about Iconics was Billie Kay being an over-the-top character and breaking. Like she would make people break character and corpse in the middle of their fucking promos, either on YouTube or on TV or whatever. She is so good. She would break me in an instant, and this could play into it. Maybe we're just fantasy booking here, but there's consequences for Adam Pearce making that match the main events. Maybe the consequences is that he no longer is in charge of SmackDown, and then Billie Kay takes over because of it. And now Adam Pearce is either on Raw or just no longer on television.
He's not allowed around to like book Roman Reigns' future. Okay.
No, and then Billie Kay will do whatever Roman wants. Just as long as he gives her resume to Paul Heyman and everybody else, you know.
I hear you now, Vince. I hear you. Okay. I'm here for that.
Yeah.
What I'm not here for is the next tag match, Sasha and Bianca taking on Carmella and Bayley. I hate this lazy style of feud building. Let people just feud. This is like one of those things where it's just like you take 2 baby faces, you take 2 heels, and that's how you decide to build the feud, is just through nonsensical tag matches. Nothing that makes sense. When in the world has Sasha Banks and Bianca ever looked like they were interested in teaming with each other? They are both single stars. Same thing with Carmella and Bayley. You have 4 legitimate single stars. Like, let them tell their own stories, man. You don't need to put them in tag teams, because now like it's the water is muddied as far as the next contender for Bayley's belt, or no, excuse me, Sasha Banks' belt, unless you're trying to do this like multi-woman match of like a triple threat or a fatal 4-way.
I would say this. You're completely right, but I do like the dynamic of Bianca and Sasha as a team, and Bayley and Carmella actually have history going all the way back to NXT of being self-dubbed Baymella when they were both baby faces. And I also love the dynamic between Bayley, Reginald, and Carmella as a trio there.
Reginald was the star of this match, by the way.
Oh my gosh!
Hands down, he was the star of the match. That dude's got acrobatics for days.
This guy's a wrestler, right? Like, we just never heard of him, right?
Yeah, the closest they would hint to it was he was like, oh, he must be a gymnast. Look at him with all these gymnastics.
For sure. Hey, but Carmella picked up the win. That leads me to believe that's the next challenge.
Yo, with a beautiful like float over face buster. To me, it's still the X Factor, but I know then it's still the X Factor. But dude, the whole like, I love it. I always thought like the face buster, like, I don't know if it's necessarily women, just in general, it's kind of a janky move to like kick someone in the gut and then do it, because there's so much like stop go motion. And watching Carmella do it kind of like with almost like a tornado DDT aspect made that move look gorgeous.
Yeah, that's what it was missing, some uniqueness to it, because it kind of felt very bland.
Yeah.
Like no seasoning to that finisher whatsoever. It needed something.
No, that float over or tornado. What I guess it'd be a float over, but yeah, fantastic move for sure. Keep that and give Reginald more time instead of just getting slapped. Let him do some more heelish stuff.
Yeah.
I do find it hilarious though that WWE is so against the term manager. They just create these outlandish names like Sommelier. Like the dude's he's a manager. He's like, I didn't see him serving her wine like before, during, or after the match. No, the dude was doing.
You have an idea there that I am totally behind. He serves Carmella some wine, and then that would have been perfect. While she's on the apron waiting to be tagged in, she's sipping her wine.
That
would have been freaking perfect.
There you go. Now he's a sommelier. All right, you have to create the divide.
Yes.
Oh man. Yeah, but so two silly segments here, and we'll talk about one of them, which I know isn't actually that silly. But they play a clip, right? They play a clip of the match being set up between Jey Uso and Kevin Owens. And you hear the commentators announcing it, that it's been officially announced by Adam Pearce, right? And then they pull back from the clip, and it's Roman, Jey Uso, and Paul Heyman watching the clip. And Roman tells Jay, go find out who's responsible for this match. And I thought it was just kind of like I don't know, like maybe just some poor execution. But later on in the night, it is confirmed that he really didn't know, because Paul Heyman had to inform him it was Adam Pearce. The only way this makes sense is, do the monitors in the back do not play audio?
Or maybe Roman chooses to block out the noise and watch his wrestling.
He can just make himself go deaf, like watching TV.
Or a mute button.
He hits the mute. I don't know. It was silly to me. It stuck out. It was like, we just heard Michael Cole announce Adam Pearce made the match official.
I don't think Michael Cole was supposed to say Adam Pearce made it official.
I don't know, man. It was silly, though. It was silly. And then, of course, the next part is what a lot of people are talking about tonight. Sonya Deville's back. She walks down a hallway. All the heels and faces are turned and shocked. She's been reinstated to WWE. A lot of people thought she was going to be gone longer, maybe like Royal Rumble. But that
would have been a great way to bring her back. But if she wasn't going to win the Rumble, don't debut at the Rumble.
That's a good point.
That's always been my point on shock debuts, unless it's like a one-off, like MVP, and then like he later sprinkles it into like the roster and his story weekly, or if you're gonna win, or it has to be like a giant return like Edge. If it's gonna be like a current roster member and they're not gonna win the Rumble, it does them no favors in like just debuting there.
Yeah. I mean, personally speaking, I had no trouble with it, but I think the reason why that she had a lackluster debut is all your women are already doing something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's not part of a tag team anymore. So, I mean, like all the single stars, which arguably is going to be, you know, Carmella, Sasha, Bailey, and Bianca, they're already wrapped up in something. There's no way they don't have any plans. They just want to get her back on TV, get people buzzing. I think that's all it was. Is they don't have an angle for her, so just walk down the hallway.
Yeah, I mean, also too, it could have just been like I said, like a teaser. It was like, oh, what's she here for? Like the opportunities are endless. You don't know what her motivations, her goals are. She could be heel. She could be babyface. We don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Oh, she's gonna be heel. She can't be face. That attitude. I mean, unless she can do like the Bailey like tweener thing.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing about her is that attitude. And WWE doesn't know how to have a babyface with an attitude.
Nope. Just like a Sasha. I love Sasha, but
Sasha's a heel, bro. I'll die on this hill. Sasha is not a babyface. To this day, I refuse. What's one babyface thing she's done since getting turned on by Bailey?
I can't say
Nothing.
right now. Daddy DeVille is back. Yes, I am happy Daddy DeVille is back too, Katie.
Oh man. So we get the Street Profits segment after this. This was this made me chuckle. This is one of those stupid things where I make myself laugh because they're doing their smoke-tacular. I guess it's just like some New Year's celebration. They run down their 2020 accolades. They've been tag champions of both brands. They beat the New Day at Survivor Slam, and they've won 2 Slammies.
Survivor Slam?
Yeah, it's my thing. I botched the name like during the pay-per-view, and that's just forever Survivor Slam for me.
Nice.
I'm glad you didn't let it just awkwardly go under the radar.
No. I think that was your point, is to throw it out there and see if I catch it or not. No, I'll say this, man. I don't know. I thought it was kind of corny.
No, so this is like I said, they didn't make me laugh. I made myself laugh. And I'll explain why. Because for whatever reason, Dawkins has a drum set. I guess to continue to be Montez Ford's hype man. And then they go into predictions. They say that their number 1 selling t-shirt of 2021 will be their Intercontinental Champion shirt they made for Sami Zayn. And then that Dolph will get the nickname Heartache. Immediately following that, they get absolutely destroyed. And I thought that was like the perfect point that Montez Ford is terrible at predictions. Because he literally is in day 1 of 2021 and didn't see that shit coming. But I thought it was funny. I was like, yeah, no, obviously you're not good at this. But anyways, yeah, corny segment, like you said. Did they do an injury spot with Montez, or they just like beat him up? Because they racked his leg on the pole and then beat him with a chair.
I think they might do something where they target Dawkins. Like next week, Dawkins is going to try to get revenge on Rude and Ziggler for what they did to Montez, and he's maybe off of TV for a week or 2 to sell the injury, just to add some heat to this feud. Honestly, put the titles on Rude and Ziggler. Put the titles on Rudolph.
Yeah, just do it.
Rudolph deserves, like even though the Christmas season is behind us, Rudolph should be tag team champions. That's where I'm going. 2021 Rudolph tag team champions.
Yeah, just do it. They got a new T-shirt. They're the what do they do it? It's a play apparently on they're the Dirty Dogs, and apparently Rude was a tag team with what looked like to be. I'm just going by what I saw on Twitter with what's his name? Austin. Former cruiserweight title contender.
Austin Aries.
Apparently, I guess he was like a tag team with him, and they were called like the Dirty Heels or something like that.
Right.
And so him and Ziggler have a shirt. Apparently, they're the Dirty Dogs. Is what that is. I don't know.
You know what I'd like to see them do? Because their gears are slowly starting to get closer and closer, similar to each other. I want them to come out with a tag team theme song. Don't come out separately anymore. I've always been against wrestlers coming out individually unless it's 2 big name singles guys, or if it's like a mismatch tag team, like Team Hell No. But eventually they started to come out to one theme song as well. So that's what I want to see. This is why they can't win the tag titles. They don't come out together with one theme song. That's my theory.
No, I mean, you're right. If you're going to be a legit tag team, eventually they got to merge you. Can't really think of too many.
I know Dude Love and Stone Cold won the tag titles together, but that was Dude Love's debut on
and Raw. Mankind and The Rock and Sock. I don't think they even had a joint tag team, so I don't know.
No, they didn't.
Yeah. I mean,
that's
the
exception
Rock,
to the rules.
Yeah, there's a couple. I was like, that's the fucking Rock and that's Stone Cold. You know.
At one point, Shawn Michaels and John Cena were tag team champions.
That's a weird one.
John Cena and Batista were tag team champions.
Edge and Hulk Hogan tag team champions.
Yeah, Edge and Chris Jericho were tag team champions. Early 2000s to mid 2000s had a lot of like singles guys as tag team champions. They didn't really focus on tag team wrestling.
No,
but too much tag team wrestling tonight, though.
Too much, you say?
4 matches too many. 4 matches, too many. And then the 5th segment with Street Profits and Rudolph. It's like 5 tag team actions here. It's like, what is this?
Look, I don't need the Twitter hate we're gonna get because we come in and complain about not enough tag team focus week in and week out.
Actual
they
tag
finally
teams.
give us a tag team episode.
Actual tag teams.
And
Only
you're gonna
3.
tell them too much tag team, Vince? No, like, we need tag teams.
No,
they need to merge those belts, man.
That
you need to merge the fucking belts.
I saw this design where the strap is black, the plates are silver, but they have like the bottom has like an outline of blue and the top one has an outline of red.
Nah, it's too much. You don't need to incorporate blue and red to your belts, man, to like signify Raw and SmackDown. But
True.
WWE is just all about the corporate branding. They really are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh man. No. So Daniel Bryan, Otis, and Chad Gable. I don't know how long they're gonna do a thing for. Tonight I loved it, man. They play a clip earlier in the evening. Chad Gable's giving Bryan some tips on suplexes and using his hips. And he's like thrusting Otis from behind, and it's just comically hilarious. Like just the look of him trying to suplex Otis and shit. And Nakamura and Cesaro just play the classic like high school bullies, like just walking around calling people like essentially they're doing what the Good Brothers were doing without just saying nerds at the end of all their segments. It's the same stuff, you know. But they challenge him to a match. Ends up being pretty fun tag match. You have Gable on the outside still continuing to coach Otis and Daniel Bryan. Bryan's able to tap out Nakamura, and then like I said, the 3 celebrate by doing like the 3 Amigos celebration, which I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, way over. I don't know anybody under 30 that's gonna get that reference. And shoot, maybe like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, it was what it was. I thought it was funny. They're really pushing for Daniel Bryan in this Royal Rumble, though. They're talking about all his accolades. He's a 5-time world champ, but he never won the Rumble.
I know he got put through the table by Jey Uso during the qualifier match for the Survivor Series team. They never ran that back, right? Did they?
Daniel Bryan and Jay?
No, like him, like Daniel Bryan just basically confronting Roman for basically sicking Jay onto him and forcing him to do the extra mile.
No, I think he had a match with Jay not that long ago.
No, it was I think it was like last week or something. But I meant like in like him confronting Roman. I was like, hey, do you want to?
No, that was done. He confronted Paul Heyman on Talking Smack.
Yeah, that
he confronted Paul Heyman and said that he's gonna win the Rumble. And then he's a better fighter and a damn better wrestler than Roman, and that he'll beat him at WrestleMania if Roman has the belt. And then he said, if Roman doesn't have the belt, I'll still beat him down the road anyways, you know? So they're building this quiet feud between Daniel Bryan and then like accentuating the Rumble. They're really putting him out there to be one of the top contenders to win the Rumble. Like
he's going to be either the final 4 or his elimination is going to be a big deal that sets up his WrestleMania match.
Yeah, one or the other. Like, no, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, because I mean, they have rumored for Roman Reigns. I don't think they even know who they're going to do, but I know it's got to be between Daniel Bryan, Big E, and then who's another? Kevin Owens ain't gonna do it at Rumble. I mean, at WrestleMania.
Yeah, no,
I would say probably Daniel Bryan or Big E.
I think it's too soon for Big E, especially if he's not gonna win the title.
Yeah.
I think I don't even think Daniel Bryan would take the title off of Roman. I think it'd be a Triple H Booker T scenario where he should win the title, but the heel keeps the title.
No, I don't see Roman dropping that belt. Man, I don't know. To like 2022, it's really hard to picture him losing that belt.
Yeah.
Unless it's like Goldberg, I could definitely see them bringing Goldberg in.
No, you know
they're gonna do it, man. Goldberg at Mania pins Roman, the valiant underdog babyface Goldberg.
F all that. If you're Roman Reigns,
Pyro going off behind you.
and it's one thing if you're Bray Wyatt in the Fiend and you just like, oh, it's whatever. You're Roman Reigns. If you're really gonna like put up this front that you have stroke in there and that you're not gonna let shit fly. If I'm Roman Reigns and they try to tell me I'm losing to Goldberg, 75-year-old Goldberg, I will say, fuck you, I'm going home. Yeah, I'm not doing that. You do that, I'm going to Hollywood.
Roman Reigns took his ball and went home.
Yes, take your ball and go home, big dog. You don't need this. You're the tribal chief. You don't need Oldberg to come in here and steal your thunder just because he wants to show his kid that he's still a good wrestler. And like, dude, just show him your highlights on like YouTube. Like all your matches are probably on YouTube. Like you probably fit all your career matches in a 10-minute video.
Kinda, yeah.
Exactly.
Anyways.
I mean, if we're doing Roman Goldberg, do it at like whatever pay-per-view. And
do it at Rumble. Do it at Rumble, man. Get it out the way.
Do it at Rumble. Get out the way. Roman just completely destroys him
and sends Goldberg home. Like here's the thing, though. I don't mind. Like I'm actually excited the idea of Goldberg and Brock Lesnar just in non-title pictures, like compelling stories. Goldberg and Matt Riddle. You know, although Goldberg would just destroy Matt Riddle. There's no way Goldberg would accept a loss to him. But it would still be something funny, like Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be for the world title. I would be excited for those things.
Yeah,
but the fact that it's like you have to strap your belts to them, WWE's just always felt like our fans won't get that these guys are important unless they have the world title. You know, it's like, dude, we know you value them.
Important by putting the title on them.
Yeah.
And it ruins other stuff. For instance, you speaking about Goldberg and Brock, their Survivor Series match, I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. And their rematch, I was hyped for. At WrestleMania, their match was really good, but I was disappointed that they took the Universal title off of Kevin Owens and they cooled down that feud between him and Chris Jericho. How amazing would it have been?
That was the hottest feud at the time, man.
It was the hottest feud. The Festival of Friendship was one of the best things on Raw that year and wrestling within the last couple of years.
Within the last couple years, it's been one of the best things Raw has produced.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Jericho and Owens did the two of them made a fantastic segment. They would have had an amazing match, and the feud would have been perfect if a babyface Jericho comes back and takes the Universal title, which is where this feud started from, was the Universal title. Then pivoting to Jericho dropping the US title to Owens just didn't.
They went from supposing to main event Mania to being the curtain jerker for the US title.
Yep.
Yeah.
But one great thing happened out of this. The WrestleMania 24, where they show Kevin Owens going backstage to Vince McMahon and saying, "I'm like, was that good? Was that good? Like, was that good?"
No.
And then Vince like, "No." And then Kevin just like awkwardly just standing behind them, like, "What do I do now?"
Oh, poor Kevin Owens! What a fucking wet fart that feud turned into.
Yeah,
man. Anyways, going on to the main event of the evening, Kevin Owens taking on Jey Uso. This was interesting. They get to the first commercial break where, you know, the match is probably only about like 20% in. They come back from the commercial and Jey Uso is immediately botching a splash, gets stunnered, and Kevin Owens wins just like that. And you end up having 10 minutes left on air. At that point, the commentary team starts putting over, Kevin Owens is going to beat him up now. Kevin Owens is going to beat up Jey Uso, which I just thought was weird. A weird way to let your fans know what his intentions are instead of just letting us see it. But anyways, yeah, Kevin Owens hits a couple more stunners. He handcuffs Jey to the ring ropes. Super kicks him and beats him down. He's talking trash during the match and afterwards. Like, look, he's like, this ain't even your fault. You know, this is what your.
I love that.
Yeah, this is what your cousin's doing to you. You know, your cousin's putting you through this, and the whole time Kevin Owens is trying to goat Roman Reigns down, and so Roman doesn't come down. So he takes the handcuffs, puts them on Jay's hand. They're the shackle style. They're not like police handcuffs. So he's got plenty of movement. It was hilarious because Kevin Owens is walking Jay up the ramp, and Jay shoves him straight into a cameraman, and you see the shocked face on Kevin Owens. I was like, "Oh man, are you good? You good?" and then proceeds to brawl with Jay in the Thunderdome around all the LED boards and stuff.
Bowels of the Thunderdome.
Yeah. Which I thought was a cool aesthetic. We've yet to really see it. You know, we've seen people kind of get tossed into the Thunderdome, and I think one time we had someone jump off of the LEDs, but this was like the first time, like essentially fighting in the crowd, you know, is the equivalent of what this was. What's hilarious to me is the way the Thunderdome is set up is it's like hallways, and Kevin Owens sets Jay up, and he gets perched to do a splash, and Roman somehow gets the jump on him. But the thing is, it's like, if you see how it's structured, Roman had nowhere to hide. And that kind of just like stuck out to me. But it's a little thing. But anyways, Roman and Jay get the upper hand. They beat the shit out of Kevin Owens. They beat him halfway to death with chairs. And then he gets tossed off the Thunderdome about like 12, 15 feet up, through some tables. Kevin Owens, I will say one thing. He's a glutton for punishment. I'm wondering, like, how does he come out of this on top? I mean, we know the belt ain't getting put on him.
I saw, I don't know who tweeted this out, but it was a mutual of mine on my timeline, and said this should culminate with if Kevin Owens loses, he's removed from SmackDown match, which pivots him to joining NXT full time as a wrestler, which I think would give a breath of fresh air to NXT, which I think needs some faces, because they went through a phase there where their top guys kept being injured and leaving left and right. It would be good for Kevin Owens. It would be good for NXT. Would it hurt SmackDown for a bit? Sure, but you could always do something where he just goes to NXT for a few months and then shows up later on back on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, use Aleister Black in case people forgot he was on SmackDown. Apparently the SmackDown team forgot he was on. That's still...
I just saw the first picture of Aleister Black I think I've seen in like a month. It is just on Twitter of him and Zelina Vega hanging out. So, yeah.
Do you think that's punishment for the Zelina Vega tweet?
I don't think they had anything. I don't think they had anything for him regardless. Like, I think the best case scenario, if without Zelina Vega getting fired and stuff, he would probably be fulfilling like a 24/7 kind of role, like Apollo Crews kind of role, like low mid card, doing nothing, like absolutely nothing.
He could be an upper mid card to main event guy if given the right character, motivation, and just time into the character.
They just don't know what to do with his character. That's the thing.
No. Send him back to NXT. Apparently, after like Selena got like waived or released or whatever, he was pushing hard to go back to NXT.
Well, it was before then. Before then, he was trying to go back.
Send him back. I'm all for it. Him versus Karrion Kross would be amazing.
Take that stupid creak out of it. Oh wait, no, they changed his entrance. That's right. They changed one of the best effing entrances.
But if they send him back to NXT, they can just hit the reset button like nothing ever happened.
No, I ain't gonna do that.
It's NXT, man. Vince McMahon don't watch it. He don't know.
Yeah, he won't know.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was our episode of SmackDown, man. Once again, like I said, it was pretty decent. It's following a very emotionally draining week of pro wrestling. Once again, following the loss of Mr. Brody Lee. So, like I said, and also because we're still early on the way to Royal Rumble, so we weren't expecting any like huge angles. I think the biggest thing we got here, Sonya Deville. Obviously returning. The build for Daniel Bryan in the Rumble seems like that is a thing. And then we might be building towards some new tag team champions with Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. So some stuff to keep an eye on. Also, what's the repercussions for Adam Pearce? Because we didn't get anything tonight.
There will be. I think that was a key point to look into next week.
Yeah, so... We'll have to wait and see what they got going on. To everybody else, once again, please like, share, and subscribe us on YouTube. Help us get to that 200 sub mark. Everywhere else you're listening to the podcast, leave a rating, review. We love it. We're having one of the best. We're coming off of one of the best months of the show, and I am extremely grateful for all of you guys watching. We've been doing this now for about a year and a half. I can't tell you how awesome it is that you guys help continue to support the show. So lastly, before we go, help support us by heading over to Patreon, patreon.com/SmackDrawPodcast. If you guys sub in the next, let's say by the 3rd, I can still send out your stuff for December. I'll just go ahead and send it out now. But like always, until next time, y'all have a good one.
Later, y'all.
Here we go.